I'm Phoebe Kingston, for those of you who don't know me yet, and I'm delighted to be here today as a returning Recovery Rocks community member and to give a short little keynote on the importance of belonging to a peer community as a peer worker. It's really nice to see lots of familiar faces. I've been itching to come back and meet new people as well. So it's a nice, small, intimate crowd, which is just my speed tonight. I just wanted to say, and I'm going to be reading my speech because my usual extensive preparations were somewhat stalled by 2 surgeries, so just forgive me for reading, but I'll still try and be engaging. I wanted to start with the acknowledgement to country as well. We're meeting on the land of the Whadjuk Noongar Nation, and I acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and pay my deepest respects to their elders past, present, emerging and future. So just to share a little bit of myself to start with. I joined the Recovery Rocks community as a management committee member at the AGM in 2015, 1 year after it was incorporated under the Associations Act. It was exciting times both for the community and for myself, professionally and personally, and it was only my second learning journey in some governance, and I learned so much about grassroots community organisation and the function and importance of peer communities. I had taken leave of absence in March 2017 after my son was born, returned after 6 months, but some months later in 2018 I had to stand down from the committee due to the competing demands in my first year as a working mum. I had to sacrifice 3 of my roles, and it seemed almost impossible to keep up with every role: voluntary, paid, motherhood, trying to keep up with projects and commitments, and difficult in general to keep up with everyone and everything in my full life. So now, after 2.5 years, I've just about gotten into the swing of things. In this challenging new role as a working mum, I'm a little bit better able now to juggle my career, work and family and social activities. Wouldn't say I've achieved the ever-elusive work-life balance, but you've got to have a goal. So I did want more involvement with the community in the sort of first quarter in the middle of this year, but was completing large preparation, wrapping up some significant amounts of work and commitments before a big surgery. I had an enormous surgery in mid-September, always going well, but unfortunately 3 weeks post-op I caught golden staph, so I had emergency surgery only 17 days ago, which is when I was planning to memorise and practice performing this speech. So I'm here and I'm really thrilled to be here.
And so are we.
And going to be back at the gatherings because I can drive again now and it's all great. So connection is so important for people, and particularly for peer groups who are considered a minority and or marginalised to some degree for whatever reasons within mainstream society. As people of a lived or personal experience of mental and emotional distress, we, like everyone, benefit from and seek out emotional connections that run deeply through us. We require, sometimes crave, relationships that have particular substance, relationships that are authentic and nourish our souls. This is really a human thing. For those of us, through our struggle for psychological well-being, consequently may lose some of our important relationships and friendships. And those friendships and relationships reveal themselves to be one of the few things of real importance in our lives. This realisation for many of us can be very painful, and often after losing friendships, we find ourselves lacking in self-confidence, unsure of our social skills, maybe lower self-esteem, some social anxiety perhaps, and the thought of building new relationships and friendships can be overwhelming. I've had the experience of losing some friends and can relate well to the need and craving for good, supportive and understanding people in my life, and the anxiety of all the aspects I've mentioned above relating to the overwhelming feelings connected to the task of cultivating new friendships. For any kind of lived experience peer worker, the involvement in a lived experience peer community is paramount. One cannot be a peer worker advocating for social inclusion, connection, community and sense of belonging, and through this the strengthening of personal identity, a cornerstone of true personal recovery, if one is not experiencing some form of peer community themselves. A nuanced understanding of community and natural peer support is derived through experiential knowledge, the experience of the positive feelings of personal, social connection, friendships, relationships, individual and collective identity, reciprocal personal support, and sense of belonging. I belong to a few peer communities, each unique, with different common goals, personal connections, group identities, and sense of purpose. And I benefit from each in different ways and levels. The thing that I find most beneficial in each is the magnitude of personal learning, self-development, and self-growth that I can work through simply through my relationships with the individuals in those groups, many of whom are a mixture of my personal and/or professional mentors. Strong, thriving communities should evolve this way and provide this journey and experience for their members. It's so important that a peer community of minority and/or marginalised individuals who face certain social, political and economic injustices, to name a few, can accomplish a degree of collective community self-actualisation. Recovery Rocks is a peer community that genuinely strives to fulfil people's needs, and although the journey for any grassroots and newly incorporated organisation, community in this case, but we do have to abide by some rules, although the journey can be fraught with challenges that are not always understood and appreciated by all involved, the Recovery Rocks community has admirable purpose and aspirations and already so many great achievements. And I'm so proud to be a member of this community. Back in 2016, I was struggling with my unplanned pregnancy and endured so much judgment from other women when I was vocal about not wanting to have a baby. Their reactions were of total disbelief that a physically fit woman in her late 30s, married and partnered over 20 years, would not want to have a baby. But that was how I felt at the time, and I wasn't prepared to hide it. I'm a natural advocate and never shy away from expressing my opinions, especially when they're adverse to popular opinions. Of course, it all worked out well in the end, and I love, cherish, and adore my child, as all parents do. He is one of the most wonderful things in my life. I got there in the end. However, during the pregnancy, I was filled with negative emotions, and I decided to attend the Recovery Rocks peer support group a couple of times. My point to this personal sharing is that I've chosen my peer groups very carefully. And what I value so highly in each of them is the feeling of non-judgmental acceptance. Recovery Rocks was one of the first places where I felt accepted for who I really was. And this is so powerful for personal recovery. Although I'm from north of the river, very busy, and I've been absent for 1 year, whenever I am here, I feel a special warmth. It's so wonderful to be asked how I am and have a meaningful conversation around it in a way that is so supportive and authentic. So as I said, I'm very proud to be a member of the Recovery Rocks community, and I share its aspirations for growth and development into the future. It is our support, care and kindness to each other that gives our community a beating heart. And I feel that what Amanda has founded and created, and what all the management committee members, past, present and future, have created and will continue to facilitate, is an open-hearted, non-judgmental space where people can genuinely connect through lived experience, come together, share, give and receive in so many meaningful and fulfilling ways. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the AGM and the cake!